invite our speaker, next speaker, Mr. Raghav Mathur, leading energy specialist, ICF.
So I think that everyone has covered everything and not much is left for me. So I'll just make this short. But I would like to talk about two things. One is that we're talking about CNG a lot, and there is a big potential threat to CNG in EVs, and then there is a savior which is coming in the name of trucks. So I would like to talk about both of them. And before moving to that, I would talk briefly about ICF, that what ICF is. We do energy consulting, and we are located across all continents, and majorly we have a India and China office also. So, where is the transport sector heading? We see that CNG is going to be the driver of it, and a lot of demand is going to come from CNG. But that's also an aspiration. This is what we are thinking about, and but to make it happen, I think some more steps need to be taken. Just by giving licenses, maybe we might not be able to reach to that demand. So what is government planning right now? They are planning this quadrilateral that we are talking about, and we are working with GAIL actively on the market seeding project. But what is happening is that there are a lot of stakeholders which are very important, like SIAM is going to be very important, CGD entities will be important, OEMs will be important to make that happen, because except for Maruti, we don't see any large OEM selling CNG cars. Now, why is that not happening? So these questions need to be answered when we are looking at the future. What is stopping them to actually come out with something new? So again, the government is pushing both of them, CNG as well as EVs, and maybe one of them is going to win the race, or maybe they will coexist. In terms of LNG, what we see is that a big quadrilateral is being formed, and companies like IGL, GGL, and many other CGDs are going to come up with LCNG stations, but there are 30 CGD entities, out of which only 5 or 6 are actually planning them. Why are others not joining the cause? Why are we working in silos? These are some questions that the CGD industry in general needs to ask, that whether we come together or we keep working alone and have our own separate thoughts and ideas and voices when moving ahead. But we all know that this industry makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of commercial angle to it. When we compare it to diesel, we are much cheaper, we can do it. Now the point is that what is stopping us? What is the enabler that is required from the market or from the government or whatever support we can gather? Now that support was gathered by EVs. States have come out with policies, states, not companies or not anyone else. It is the states, the ministers which are talking about giving rebates to cars, two-wheelers, three-wheelers. We don't hear that in the CNG industry. So how do we convince the state government, the central government to make that noise for CNG like they're making in EVs? Now that will be an enabler to sustain it, to sustain this business that we are doing right now. Or maybe we'll just die slowly. So what is the step forward? Now, I think we have a domestic gas allocation, and there is a possibility that we will need to keep hold of it. Now, can a single CGD entity keep hold of that? Maybe not. Do we need a CGD body in the future so as to keep that with us? Now, that is something that the CGD industry needs to think about. Now, we need to build that infrastructure faster than what the EVs are doing right now. EVs are getting support from the state governments, we are not, hence, but we have the licenses now. So it's up to us to create the infrastructure, gather the market first before the EVs come into the picture. Maybe the forum can also initiate talks with some other OEMs except for Maruti to actually come out with those variants which are there on road. Once the people start seeing those variants and have trust, then maybe they'll buy more of it. Some other things that maybe the forum can do is talk about STUs and whether these buses can be converted to natural gas before the EV starts penetrating it. In Gujarat, we recently heard that CNG buses are now again getting back to diesel. Now, why is that happening? So all these things need to be answered when looking at the future. Although everything is bright in terms of the licensing and everything, but I think the CG industry needs an apex body to actually continue that growth and prosperity that we have seen in the past. That's it. Thank you. I thought last 5 minutes is something that
Thank you.
otherwise I could have gone and on and on.
Thank you, Raghav, and it's really crisp, and the message was very clear.